Once again, this is Stan Hustad, and I'm inviting you to an episode that we used to call, here we go now, the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. That's right, the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, and we're really going to stick by that idea, but we've made it even better and more challenging. So from now on, the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience will include you, and let me tell you the story. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. And perhaps some people have said, maybe I should say something different from time to time. And I've thought about that. Greetings, friends. That might be nice, but maybe not everybody would like to consider me a friend. As someone said, you always will have a few foes listening to you on the radio. So I'm not so sure. One person suggested, make it real formal, guys and gals. Well, I'm kind of old for that. And someone said, maybe it's gang. It's kind of good old gang, good old guys, good old gal, a gang. Doesn't have to be a negative, and you're right. And then someone said, Jesus said at one time, I call you friends. I like that. Maybe it's just a collection of friends. And that's why the title is important. As I said, Jesus did not start a new church. He did not start a new organization. He did none of those things. Just didn't do it. What he did do is begin to gather together a collection of characters who eventually he gave the commission. A group of characters, a collection of different people, and he gave them a commission, not just a mission, a commission to go out there and tell them that God loves them. All of them, everybody, all kinds of people, that God loves them and that God has some special wisdom that will help them live their lives better. And that much of this is centered around the story of Jesus. It's the Jesus story. And I oftentimes remind people, particularly pastors, that they forget that their prime mission is not to perhaps talk about denominational or Christian living as much as it is to kind of drop down from theology and share wisdom for life and business and well-being that comes from God. And then tell the Jesus story. Just a thought. However, here is what I've decided, and this is important. One of the new terms which I have begun to adopt because I like it. It's not an organization. It's not necessarily a company. We certainly are not going to call it a ministry, whatever that is. But it's a collective. It's a group of people who come together because they have something to do and to become. And then from doing and becoming to make a difference in their life, the life of their family, the community, perhaps even their world, and who knows, maybe the world. And so the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience is now the Jesus Entrepreneur Collective, and we are inviting you to join the collective. There are no dues, there are no membership fees, but you can be a part of the collective. And the collective will produce a lot of very, very good stuff and services and things to help you live better. As I often say, our job is to help you understand how to live better in the marketplace by imitating and being Jesus on course, Jesus apprentice, so that you can go into the marketplace and make more money. Yeah. Someone's got to pay the bills, make more money. and maybe even have more fun. Wouldn't that be good? Make more money and have more fun. Let's talk about life. And then do so in such a way that makes Jesus smile. Makes Jesus smile because of what we do. I had one guy who said, well, I've given my business to God. And okay. He said, it's God's business. And I just simply said, are you sure he wants it? That's a little bit nasty, but no, I really mean that, Just saying you aren't going to give your business to God doesn't mean that he'll take it. He may not want it. Maybe your business doesn't help people flourish. Maybe your people in your business aren't doing well because of how you treat them. Maybe your business doesn't make Jesus smile. Maybe he's kind of ticked off. Now, it's not going to cost you your salvation, but it might cost you some certain good life blessings that could happen to all of us. The Jesus Entrepreneur Collective is now coming together, and I'm asking a number of you to just help me by becoming friends. And I'm calling it, within the collective, we have a group of friends. Yeah, we do. Maybe we'll call ourselves guys or gals or something like that. Hopefully we will be ladies and gentlemen. But we're friends. And we're part of the collective because that's what Jesus put together. As I said, he didn't seem to be in the business of starting a new religion. He said, I'm here to fulfill the religion you already have. I'm here to help you make it real and right. He didn't start a church. Didn't start, quote, a ministry, whatever that might be. He didn't start an organization, that's for sure. In fact, as some people have pointed out, the first convert was the guy right next to him at Calvary Hill. He said, hey, you said, remember you? You're in. You're going to be with me in the good place. That's his first convert. Oh, I think once we begin to study the life of Jesus, we will find so many fun and good and different things that being a part of the collective could literally change your life and business. And before I die, which will be soon, I'm hoping to get this started and in motion. And I'd like you to be a part of the Jesus Entrepreneur Collective. And from now on, we're going to be having a number of friends. Some of them will be founding friends. That means they were in for a Benjamin, but a lot of them won't be. And there might even be some of you would say, well, Stan, I kind of like what you do. Here's a little gratuity. And then I'm going to provide things and I'm going to say, here's the deal. You want this? This will help you. And it's going to cost you some money. And here's how much it'll cost you. We're not in the charity business. We're not in the donation business. We're in the friendship collective business, and we're in the business of being in business. If we're going to teach people how to be Jesus entrepreneurs, we ought to be Jesus entrepreneurs. We ought to be in business and competing with other businesses. He had to. And in effect, making a way for people to truly become new and different in so many ways. You see, what's going to happen is everybody is going to go through traumatization. You will. And I have. And I'll probably go through a few again. And the transformation will come maybe later, after the traumatization. And maybe even after the transformation, there might even be something called a transfiguration. That's part of what we're going to learn about as we do this work, and then maybe join me in another project called the Transformation Zone, because that's what part of what we're all about. You see, as an entrepreneur, I do a lot of different things, and so do you. You see, you have to have a number of platforms where you can perform for people that will serve them well. And you're going to make it so that each platform has a way of producing its own value. And you're going to then recruit and bring in other people to join the platform. And then you will do what I'm told I was supposed to do. When I signed up to join the Jesus Missionary Collective, they said, Stan, your job is to be so good at what you do that we fire you. You're unemployed. We give your job to one of your followers. That's what you're supposed to do. And you know what? That's what they did. It's okay. Be so good at the thing you did was so good that people wanted it and you gave it away. I oftentimes have said to Jesus, how can I be blessed with this particular project? And from time to time he said, then give it away. Give it away. I say, are you sure? And then Jesus sometimes gives me one of the hardest commands ever. And that is, trust me, Stan. Just trust me. Boy, for an old hard-nosed business rationalist, that's really hard to do. 20 minutes. We're done. This is TED Talk length, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. But I want you to know that I'm inviting you to reach out to me at Stan@witradio.net. That's part of the business that I make my money, not this business. What It Takes Radio. Stan@witradio.net. Say, I'd like to be a founding friend in your collective. And I would say, it's not my collective. It's ours. All the best and blessings. I hope to hear from you, and I hope to work with you. We live in challenging and changing times, and it's going to take men and women who follow Jesus who are really good at what they do. They do it well, and Jesus smiles, and the world that he came to save will be better off because you did your deal. Do the deal. Do it well. Bye for now.